an order to completely move off the hook, and we were relieved by another company, and we had to travel west several miles, okay, and we traveled over into an area in front of the main lines. It's called Berlin and East Berlin, and we were going to make a company raid on the Chinese mainland, and it was going to be a diversionary action to take the pressure off the Korean Marine Corps, which was further east of Berlin and East Berlin. Company raid, why you send three rifle platoons in a rifle company, and then of course you have a weapons unit. Normally you have about 125 people to a company. That night, for some reason or other, I don't know why, but they only assigned 2 Navy hospital corpsmen to the company. So we moved from the hook over several miles and through another regimental line and through the Berlin and East Berlin outposts, and we struck the Chinese main lines. And so when you take the bulk of your company, and then you keep your reserve in. So let's say you took 2 platoons and some weapon people, and then you left 1 platoon in reserve in case you got into trouble, which we did. So 84 Marines and 2 Navy corpsmen went out that night at 9 o'clock. And then that reserve unit followed us to a certain point. And as we went on into the main lines of the Chinese, we walked into an ambush. They were waiting on us. So it was a tremendous firefight. It ended up that 2 Marines were killed, 31 Marines of the 84 were wounded, and both Navy corpsmen were wounded. In fact, both of us were wounded twice. And so after a real nasty firefight, we were able to gather all of our wounded, and we knocked them off their lines, so they had to retreat. So then we gathered all of our wounded and dead, and we got back to our lines at 5 o'clock that next morning.
So you say you were wounded?
Yes. I was wounded twice.
Where were you wounded?
I was wounded in the eyes and the knee.
And how did you get wounded in the eyes?
A hand grenade.
Were you already wounded before the hand grenade?
Yes. I was wounded in the knee before the hand grenade, yeah. It was a concussion grenade, and it gave me flash burns of both eyes.
Right now I'm looking at the citation. It mentions that you were informed that a comrade was seriously wounded and was unable to move, and you requested to be taken by hand, led to the side of this gentleman. Can you tell me about that?
There's really no decision to make. You're the corpsman. They're your people. If somebody's wounded out there, you've got to go. And he couldn't be moved. He was really all battered up. He had limbs broken. He had a broken back. I asked somebody to take me out there to him.
And you couldn't see?
No.
That's pretty amazing. So what were you able to do? How were you able to help the guy that was badly wounded?
Well, I was able to split the broken bones and put some of the bandages on him, and then I asked the guy that took me out there, do you see any blood coming from any different spots on him? And when he said yes, well, I'd put a bandage on that. I gave him some morphine. It was cold that night, so we kept the morphine in our mouth. I was able to find the morphine without any difficulty, what little I had left. Every time I'd use some, I'd put another one in my mouth.
So that evening, how long did that combat last? Do you recall?
Well, we left at 9. We didn't get back till 5. It took us probably a couple hours to get out there, maybe a couple hours to get back.
You lost how many men that day, that evening?
2 Marines were killed, and 31 Marines were wounded. And then 2 corpsmen were wounded. So 33 wounded, 2 dead. If you do your math, that's 40% casualty rate.
It was an ambush, so they knew you were coming.
Well, any time that you get 86 men walking through uncharted ground with all their gear, all their combat gear, and you're going to be hurt. So they had to hear us coming.